Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video we're going to take a look at my Shadow Charizard and we're going to take a look at the current #1 in the world team here as well with this Pokemon. As said already in my recent video, if you haven't seen this one, check that one out as well. I made a video recently for 10 legend teams / rank 1 in the world teams for this current cup, the Color Cup. And this is the current rank 1 in the world team with 3,175 MMR there as well from Ryblood. I hopefully said the name correctly, but congrats to you. And it's actually quite cool. I really enjoy this team. It's honestly a fun team to run, especially because of the Charizard. And we're gonna take a look here, of course, at the team, and we see as well that it is going to be an ABB style line. We're going to have 2 fire and flying type Pokemon in the bag, what means here as well that we kind of want to leave our lead alive just to knock out other water type Pokemon. And so, for example, here, this would have not even been a good matchup for me with the Ferrothorn against this Charizard, because it's still an okay matchup, but Ferrothorn has access to Thunder, and Charizard has resisted fast move pressure and doesn't generate energy that fast, but they swap out into the Mantine, and this allows us now to go for the Dragon Breath plus a Dragon Claw, and because the pacing of Mantine is way worse nowadays, with I think like 6, 6, and 5 to get to those aerial aces, we're going to be able to outspeed the opponent. And this is going to be great because, as you will see here as well, we're going to be able to get the KO and realignment. We have now our Fire-type Pokemon aligned against the opponent's Ferrothorn, and our Ferrothorn aligned against whatever they have in the back. And it is going to be a Water and Ground-type Pokemon, which is going to be perfect. And so we can basically go for the Dragon Claw here, and we can go for the full farm down with our Talonflame. And honestly, this team was so much fun to play. There are going to be, by the way, always teams that are not possible to beat in this meta. This meta is just way too RPS in order to really have a team that perfectly functions against everything, by the way. But this team was really, really fun. So, next opponent we actually saw something I don't really like to see is a neutral lead. I don't like to see neutral leads. I don't like to see even really positive leads a lot of times. The best thing for this team is if you kind of lose the lead, which is weird, but it is all down to basically trapping opponents with Charizard. Like, that is the entire idea behind this. You have a lead that's going to be great against Pokemon like Kingdra, and then you have Charizard, which is supposed to bait out basically potential water type Pokemon while still punishing them with Dragon Breath plus Dragon Claw there. And that always kind of functions quite well, but here, for example, now, yeah, I can let the move go through from the opponent, and I can swap out of here, but they have the Morpeko in the back, and honestly, you saw actually a simultaneous swap there, which is really unfortunate, because if we stayed in this matchup, we would have won this one, but I, of course, didn't expect that the opponent would want to swap there as well. And so, at this point, we're going to be, sadly, in a losing position. If I actually just stayed in there with my Ferrothorn, I would have been fine, but of course, they predicted me to swap, I predicted them to not swap, to be fair, because they had actually a very solid matchup, and sadly here, the Morpeko is a bit too strong. Next opponent, we're going to see a pretty bad lead, and we can swap out into our Fire type. And of course, because they're double weak to Fire in the lead, they decide to swap out of here. But I have my Charizard, and I'm making a big mistake here. I make a big mistake. The thing is, Quagsire is kinda a Pokemon that it got nerfed, but it's not nerfed too much, to be fair. And this means that the opponent is going to be able to get to 2 Aqua Tails here before I can go for 2 Dragon Claws, even though I had a little bit of an energy advantage in the beginning. And this was kind of unfortunate because I got the shield advantage already and then gave it back, basically. And so, yeah, this was not ideal. I should have not done what I did there with the Charizard. I should have just let the Charizard go down basically in the beginning and just kept the shield advantage. That would have been way, way better for me. But now I have to, yeah, deal with the opponent's Abomas now with my Ferrothorn. They still have to go for 2 charge moves though. Even a Weather Ball is not going to be enough to knock us out. We need another Weather Ball onto us to go down. And we at least gonna be able to get a little bit of an energy advantage now with our Talonflame. I hope for 2, but I only get 1 Incinerate in, which makes it a bit more awkward. And they have the Toxapex in the back. And again, I feel like if I played it better, I would have been able to win this battle here straight away. But I didn't really play it great. And so, maybe there's still a chance of us winning? Let's find out. We can still take a Brine here, I would assume. Brine is a pretty bad move, and the opponent doesn't really have a lot of attack, and they reveal here as well that they're going to have still the Quagsire. We try to undercharge, doesn't work out. And now it's down to Charizard. Can we still get to the Blast Bird in time? We can. But is it going to be enough to put the opponent into knockout range here? It could be the case. No, they can still get to another move here. Can we still reach an Incinerate? That would be perfect. Can we still Incinerate them down? We can, and we win the battle here. This was honestly my favorite battle. We had the lead of a Bomber Stone pretty bad for us. We swap out, they're gonna get out the Kingdra. Kingdra is taking super effective hits from our fast and charge move here, which they of course didn't really expect. We get the shield, and we get the full farm down before they can do anything. And alignment. So we have shield advantage, alignment advantage, and a fire type against the opponent's ice and grass type Pokemon, which was hilarious. Amoonguss is a lead that I don't really like to see, and also Charjabug Say-Stop is literally the worst Pokemon I could imagine. So yeah, we're gonna go for Dragon Claw here. We get the shield, which is kind of nice, and I can let the move go through, but they played actually quite well as well by deciding to undercharge his discharge, trying to get as much energy in as possible. But this also kind of maybe puts them into range where I can go just for the Power Whip to knock them out. This would be kind of okay for us as well here. But let's see what they're gonna do. They decide to go for the Extra here, which is okay. We can go for another fast moves there as well, and then hopefully for a Power Whip afterwards. Extra is coming through again, Power Whip is coming through here now as well. Hopefully it's going to be enough to knock them out. Let's find out. It is not going to be enough, but a one more fast move it is. And in comes the Amoonguss again. I keep energy just in case I would need it later on, but sadly they're going to wall us. They just didn't fall for the bait, which is fair. Like the opponent, I know them as well. They're very, very strong. So yeah, this is basically impossible for us to win. And that's totally okay. Octazooka, if we didn't get the debuff there was actually a chance of winning this battle still. I just needed to go for the Flame Charge bait first, which would have worked out well then. And then just needed to hope that the opponent doesn't get the debuff. The opponent got the debuff, I didn't go for the bait. So like there was nothing I can do there at this point anymore. But actually there was maybe a chance of still winning this one if I played it a bit better. And if I was a bit luckier. Next opponent, next Amoonguss. This is not really ideal, this is not what I want to see. But in comes Typhlosion again, that is going to be a bit of an awkward one. Dragon Claw's coming through here. This is gonna allow us to get the shield from the opponent. And we will try our best to go for another Dragon Claw afterwards as well. But the opponent decides to go for their own charge move. And here's the thing, Typhlosion and Charizard share the exact same stats. So here I could have most likely went for the CMP tie, which would have very likely worked out because we have 5 attack on our Charizard as far as I remember. You see it on the side anyway. So the thing is there, it is just a guessing game. If the opponent has a bit more attack, like you can on such a bad spot. So I decided to rather go for the full farm on there. And we see here Marowak in the back. And what we see as well is that it's not a normal Marowak. It is a Marowak with Hex as a fast move, which is interesting and so much better for us. Because they revealed already here as well, like later on, they're gonna reveal their entire moveset because they're gonna go for a Bone Club now, which is not too surprising, but they're not running any Fire-type coverage move, so they have a Fire-type without Fire-type coverage move, which is going to be great for Ferrothorn because all of a sudden, a Thunder is going to be very easily accessible for us. We're gonna get there quite fast, and they don't really do damage against us. Yes, still Shadow Bone is gonna chunk quite a bit, but as you'll see here, Thunder's gonna put them even into range where you can go for the Bullet Seed at down, which is gonna be amazing, as we can now move on to the next opponent. Kingdra against us. This is going to be a bit of an interesting matchup. We're gonna try our best to go for our Power Whip. This is usually a very solid matchup for us, but again, you kind of want to keep your lead alive, and you kind of want to have the Charizard against the opponent's Kingdra, so yeah, we can still play around though. Let's see if they're gonna get the debuff or not. They decide to go for the Outrage, so they're definitely not gonna get a debuff. And they're gonna reveal that they're going to have here in the back the Toxapex, which can take a hit here from us. It's gonna take a super effective Thunder, which is cool. And I decided to go for a Power Whip here before they can go for anything else, because I needed to really get some damage onto them. And they decided to use a shield here, which means we have to use a shield as well. And I decided to kinda put everything onto Charizard, I feel like. Because, yeah, I could go for a Dragon Claw, but I feel like it would have not been enough damage to knock them out yet. And so I rather decided to use another shield, and now they should be energy dry, and they sadly reveal that they're going to have a Gaston in the back. But it's not too bad, because we can still go for another Blast Burn. This is going to do still a ton of damage, even though it's resisted. Blast Burn, honestly, damage output of Blast Burn is ridiculous. We have Body Slam coming in here, and Talonflame is going to now try its best to go for the full farm down. Has to still take a Body Slam here, but it's all they really can go for. And so now we have a ton of energy. And the opponent makes a great play here. What they do is they decide to go into Kingdra and then swap out catching the move here. I should have went for the Flame Charge. Flame Charge would have been so good for me in this scenario. But I decided to go for the Fly instead, and now I have to hope that this Fly is enough as well. And you see already where Flame Charge would have been cool, would have allowed us to knock them out. But we're still going to be able to win the battle, and so it's all good. This team honestly was a lot of fun. Let's see here, the opponent is going to have a horrible lead for us. We swap out and they have a perfect hard counter against us. To be fair, I do actually agree with Azumarill being an interesting pick for this meta. While on paper it doesn't make any sense at all to run this Pokemon, because it has so many electric and grass type Pokemon, the amount of Pokemon that are really weak to it, like basically Azumarill either completely destroys Pokemon, like the Charizard, like the Talonflame for us, or they get getting completely destroyed. But there's also, of course, the big matchup of having Kingdra that is going to be a very good matchup for the Azumarill. So like there is definitely some play for it, but we have to still see on how we're gonna be able to play around here against this Pokemon. We're gonna now try to go for Thunder. We need to get somewhat of an advantage here, either shield or damage. And we're gonna get the damage onto the opponent, and they have Hery again in the back. It just complete hardwalled us. And that's fine, like this is the thing as well. You're going to encounter quite often just matchups that you cannot win, like literally just cannot win. That's okay, like that's totally fine. Here we see the opponent having also a Charizard there, and we're gonna go for the full farm down, and we're gonna be able to do that, which is gonna be great, as now we can keep alignment, and that is going to be very important, as I can go for the Blast Burn straight away. It's going to be a Talonflame from the opponent, and the opponent didn't sneak in an extra free fast move, which was really lucky. But if I knew this, I would have went for double Dragon Claw, but it is what it is. We can go into our own Talonflame. This is looking really good for us. Even Brave Bird doesn't knock us out. They sub out into the Quagsire. We have a ton of energy stored, and we can just go for the Power Whoop spam here. Like the worst thing that they could have is, I think, Mud Bomb, actually. Or like Earthquake if you want to go by that one. But Mud Bomb was the worst thing that they could have here. They do have Mud Bomb, but we see already it is not going to be enough to two-shot us, so I'm not too worried about it. And as we'll see here, there's going to be now 4 charge moves coming each way, like 2 from each side. And this allows us now to get the final shield, but also allows us to swap out, go for the fly on our Talonflame, get the KO here. And now it's down to us just farming them down, like there's nothing they can do about it. And we can now move on to the next opponent. Ferrothorn in the lead is going to be again kinda interesting, especially as they're going to reveal that they're going to have the Charizard here as well. And so I was of course expecting that they're going to have the exact same team that we have, and honestly, it is actually maybe better to lose this matchup here, if this is going to be the case, because then you're going to be able to get some energy advantage with a Talonflame, and sadly I'm going to win this matchup now, and it's a Magcargo in the back, and that is a core breaker. Especially with the fast move that it has, which is Incinerate, it's so much worse for me. If it is Rock Throw, you actually have a very neutral play with a Ferrothorn, which would have been fine by me. But as we will see here, at least I'm going to be able to catch a Rock Tomb, and I can still go for a Power Whip here, but the opponent is going to be in such a good, commanding spot there as well. We still have a shield left, but we know, of course, they have their own Ferrothorn, and my only hope is that they cannot farm me down here. I have to try to, keep one Power Whip for the Magcargo later, and still have to swap out of here, and I cannot do that, and that's going to be so difficult for us now to win. There's still one play that I can do, and that is going to be, hoping that they don't have Thunder. They do have Thunder, so I have to use a shield now against the Power Whip. But I have to go for a Flame Charge and hope that a Fly is going to be enough to knock out the opponent. Flame Charge is going to connect now against the opponent here. This is going to allow us to get the KO, and we're going to try to go for another Fly. This Fly is going to allow us to get the near knockout, but just sadly it is not enough to knock out the opponent's Magcargo. Unfortunate, it's just unfortunate. They had like one different Pokemon that just completely core breaks the entire team here. So, next opponent, final opponent, is going to have a Golisopod here in the lead. We're going to try our best to go for some Power Whips against the opponent. Yes, Thunder is going to be enough to knock them out, but it's very unlikely that they decide to not shield here. They're very likely gonna shield here, and they decide to shield here. And so we're gonna swap out into our Charizard, and they're gonna go ahead and go into the Stunfisk, which I'm gonna use a shield against. It is going to be a Discharge coming through, and I am not gonna mess around. I'm just gonna go straight for the Blast Burn. I don't care, I want to get the final shield here or the KO. I will take the KO, and this means that they're very likely going to have in the back the Morpeko, which is gonna be a bit of a tricky Pokemon for us to deal with, because they can go for the full farm down, but we're gonna get rid of that final shield as well. Here I'm forced to let the move go through because I need to go for the full farm down against them in order to have a chance of winning this battle still. But let's see on how this is gonna go. The best play is, I think, to go for one more fast move, then swap out. But let's see what they're gonna do. They decide to stay in here, and I thought they still survive another move, which they didn't. And with this, we should be able to win this battle, because I know this team usually have aerial ace on the Golis support, and so they decide to go for the bait here of Exeter. This is going to be it for this video. This team was definitely a lot of fun. Shadow Charizard with Dragon Breath. What a Pokemon, and as you're gonna see here as well, we had some nice climb with this one, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.